What is going on, everybody? BobbyFi with my man Eric Sheets Haber. You're going to have to pardon if there's any noise in the background. I'm recording this inside because it's pretty cold outside and there's some gardening going on. I'm at my family's house and there's people coming in and out. So mostly it should be pretty okay, but just wanted to give you a heads up. We are going to do some NBA futures bets. We're going to be betting on this season, which I cannot wait to get started. I feel really, really pumped up about it, and I'm really hoping that nothing gets in the way. Knock on wood. Eric, what are your first thoughts? And let's bring up the screen and let's
look. All I looked at was really briefly was your email to me with who you liked.
Mm-hmm.
And what I did is I pulled up the Nitrogen site. So I don't know if that's the same offerings that you were bringing. So what I did, here, I'll show you what I brought up. Let me share my screen. So I have two things going on my screen. Okay. So I have, number one, I have the DraftKings slate for Friday up on my screen, just for the hell of it, for preseason.
Don't play Harden.
And then we have this. So this is Nitrogen. So what they offer is they have the championship, they have the Eastern Conference, the Western Conference, and the regular season MVP. Now you were telling me you had other stuff, right? Like teams making the playoffs and things like that. So maybe we can get into a little bit of that, but I guess let's get right to the championship, right?
Yep.
So the first thing I look at, I noticed, I don't know what odds you got, but I'm just kind of looking really quickly. So I presume, I figured that Brooklyn was going to take a lot of money, right? So why don't you remind everybody who Brooklyn has this year? Yeah,
I mean, Brooklyn with Kyrie and KD, new situation, I personally wouldn't touch that bet myself with them being they've been the second favorites here. That certainly makes no sense to me. What I would do is for betting the title, I mean, look, the Lakers, you're not getting the right odds, in my opinion. I think you actually are getting the right odds with both the Bucks and potentially the Clippers, although I'm not thrilled with what they did in the offseason. They're not, incredible odds, but I do think the Bucks, I would put the Bucks and the Lakers in a very, very similar category this year. I might even.
Well, what did they do in the offseason? Let's look at
some so adding Drew Holiday, I think is a huge addition. Not to mention that every year that goes by, I think Giannis will get closer and closer to figuring it out. I think they've figured out some of their mistakes they've made in the past. They've been playing everybody too few minutes, trying to save them. But the problem is they haven't really developed a nice core of guys, and they tried to do that in the bubble, and it just didn't quite work. I think they're going to have a much, much better playoff performance. I think they're going to be the best defensive team in the NBA again, and they're much better than they were. So I really like the Bucks, and I would have liked the Bucks even before the Holiday trade. With the Holiday move, I just feel like that puts them a little bit higher to me than these other guys. Although, again, right with the Lakers. The Lakers obviously should be the favorite. If they were 6-1, I'd be saying bet the Lakers. But I do think the Bucks are right there with them, and I don't think it's as big of a gap as the numbers are right there. Sheets, you got me
one
here?
of the reasons I have the DraftKings slate up here is just for some of the teams here. Like I'm trying to see who these guys added. So the Lakers, I see Dennis Schroeder. They have him now. Well, I didn't even know any of this. So Montrezl Harrell is on the Lakers.
And
Marcus Sol is on the Lakers.
And Wes Matthews.
That's a little odd, isn't it?
Yeah. They're incredibly deep. They've got a lot of good players, a lot of experience, a lot of playoff experience, a lot of title. There's a lot there. Obviously, it makes sense, but I do think look, we have to count on at some point LeBron kind of aging a little bit. They are going to be. I don't think during the regular season they're going to win as many games as most people are projecting. That's not really relevant. You're just not getting the right odds. I don't know. I don't want to bet them at 2.3-1. It doesn't really make sense to me when I can get what I think is basically the equivalent team or a very close team at 6-1. And equivalent might be a stretch, but certainly just behind them, I feel like the Bucks are right there. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if we found a new Clipper thing. There's a lot of talent on that Clipper team. They didn't really do much in the offseason. They basically swapped Harrell for Ibaka into they didn't swap, but that's what they added, Ibaka, and they lost Harrell. I think that is an improvement for them, but I don't see them as being I didn't see them do anything crazy. But at the same time, I think if they had really figured it out last year, it would have been better coached, had the players more dialed in. I still think that they were just about as good of a team talent-wise as the Lakers were. So I like the bets on the Bucks. I like somewhat on the Clippers. And then for my long shot ones, I really think that there's a path where Philadelphia, whether they get Harden or not, is going to have an excellent chance. What I'm trying to find them on here. So you've got them at 18 over here. I had them at 24-1 on the site. So I really like those odds at 24-1. And I love the Mavericks. I got it 40-1, or I saw it at 40-1. I think it's now down to 30 where I saw it, but it's here you've got 27-1 essentially. Those are sort of my longer shot bets to win the title. I don't think those teams are going to win it, but Philadelphia certainly would surprise me, and I'm ready for Luka to just continue making the jump. I love what Dallas has done to add a bunch of guys like Josh Richardson around Luka, and even though they lost Seth Curry, but I think it's actually an upgrade for them with the way they play. I'm not as into the title bets. I would bet less of my money on these things because I don't see any odds that really stand out as being incredible. But I would say that Dallas and Philly make the most sense from a long shot betting standpoint.
So what I would say is this. So again, I don't have a lot of experience in this, and I just presume that all these odds are terrible. You know what I mean? That they can't figure out the odds that they really think is going to happen. They give you a huge haircut or whatever it is. So it is really just kind of fun, kind of betting these things. Mm-hmm. So for me, if I'm going to have fun betting, I'm not betting any plus 236. You know what I mean? That's just not happening. So what I'm going to look at is I'll take a real galaxy brain approach to this. So the NBA is kind of a star league, right? So one of the teams that you mentioned has arguably the best player in basketball and arguably two of the top 10 on the same team, and that is, like you said, the Dallas Mavericks. Okay, so if you could get like a fully healthy Luka and Kristaps for a whole season, I'm in, man, at 27-1. I think that's a good shot. I think that's a really good one that you brought up. Another one, and I kind of stealing this a little bit because I kind of like him as an MVP bet, is the Nuggets at 22-1. They were a hop, skip, and a jump away from this past season, right? I mean, they played really, really well. Remember that after he got COVID, not Gasol, whatever. Jokic lost a lot of weight, came back really thin, and you saw the reemergence, right, of Jamal Murray for that stretch, right, where he had like almost a legendary run, right? So I feel as though maybe Michael Porter develops a little bit more, and he flashed signs of brilliance during the course of the season and in the postseason. I think at 22-1, I think that makes sense too. Now again, when you have like Dallas and Denver, you're facing you got the Lakers to overcome, right? And the Clippers, but that's why you're getting the odds that you're getting. One other team, well, actually two other teams on that realm. Let's talk about three of them because we have three teams that, again, talk about star power. So the team that came back from the in the restart with the best record in the restart was the Phoenix Suns. All right, they didn't make the playoffs because they were so far behind. But if I'm not mistaken, did they not add? They have Chris Paul now.
Wait, you're talking about Suns? Yeah, they had Chris Paul. Yeah.
So they have Chris Paul freeing Devin Booker up to just be Devin Booker. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I mean, it's so tough. All these pictures from the Western Conference, right? So it's really hard.
Yeah.
But 43, maybe that's not enough. You know who might be enough? Maybe get Zion at 60-1. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to pick like players. You know what I mean? That you can get a lot of odds on. Those are the kind of things I'm interested in.
Yeah, I love that. So my favorite bet by far for MVP is Jokic.
Oh, nice.
Jokic is 30-1, and so here's what you've got in the West. You've got the Lakers, who aren't going to care much for the regular season after coming off a long title run that basically just ended. Yep. You've got the Clippers, who never care about the regular season because they're going to be sitting Kawhi and Paul George and doing their normal Clipper thing. Maybe not as much as last year, but they'll still be doing that. Certainly not going to go out there try and win as many games as possible because as long as they're in the playoffs, they're fine. And the next team is Denver. So if Denver wins the West and Jokic averages near a triple-double or a triple-double, which is absolutely on the table this year for him, he's 30-1. So I love that bet, which if you really want to get creative with it, though, you take Jokic at 30-1 and you parlay it with Denver having the best record in the West this season. And all of a sudden you're talking about 300+1. You're in business with that bet. And that's a very, very, likely outcome in my opinion.
Well, we talked about
Giannis, who's not going to be trying to go out there and win the MVP. Luka is going. If I had to make a bet $1 million, and it should be Luka versus the field in my opinion for MVP. I think he's 50% to win. I really do if he's healthy.
Well, we talked about Well, we talk about in DFS the concept of correlation a lot, and Bobby made a really, really good point. If you want to play MVP, if you could actually do a parlay of like a Jokic MVP with the Nuggets, it's almost like the Nuggets can't win the championship unless Jokic is the MVP.
Yeah, but forgetting the title because it's a regular season award, I like the Nuggets a lot better as a regular season team than I do as a playoff team this year. So I think that they're likely to actually – I think that them – they have as good a chance, in my opinion, almost as the Lakers and Clippers. While they might not be quite the team, it's either them or Dallas I could see making that extreme jump into the number one spot. And actually, it's not really an extreme jump for Denver. They've been in the top three the last 3 years, actually. I really like this bet, and I really like Jokic at 30-1. It just seems crazy to me. I also think you mentioned Booker before. Booker's 66-1. I've got him over here to win the MVP. I don't think Booker's going to win the MVP, but 66-1 seems a little bit extreme for a guy who could be in the top 2 or 3 in scoring. And Phoenix may be the team that makes a jump into the top 3 into the West. And you're going to get Giannis probably resting more this year. Like the MVP candidates that are the favorites, I don't really like any of them. Steph Curry is a wild card, whether his ankles will hold up, and he has to carry a lot of that team on his shoulders. And I understand that makes people think he's the likely MVP. I just don't see it happening again. I don't see them trying to do that with him in a year where they're probably not going to be contending for a title. So my favorite MVP bets are, Luka's the most likely, Jokic, and I mentioned Booker. But then there's 2 other guys I want to mention who I could see the path.
I'm gonna pull this up. I'll give you my opinion on these. So
yeah. I would love to throw out just Damian Lillard's 22-1. Portland with a healthy Nurkic, if they get in the top 3 in the West, I could easily see Lillard. I think he finished 6th last year in MVP voting, 6th or 7th or something, and he has played for a team that was below 500. So imagine, what happens if that team sneaks into the top 3 in the West with what kind of load he carries at 22-1. And then the other one that we're waiting for him to really have the motivation season to really step up, maybe Doc can get it out of him, is Joel Embiid at 25-1. I think people like Tatum, but he's 14-1. I don't love that as much, even though I think he's a possibility. But I love the Embiid, Lillard, Jokic as my long shot bets. And the super crazy long shot bet is Ben Simmons. He's 100-1. And Brandon Ingram, who's also 100-1. Brandon Ingram is a stretch, but I will tell you, I expect Brandon Ingram to be one of the best fantasy players this year, and he'll average about 28, 29 real-life points a game, I think. So those are sort of my MVPs, guys. What do you think, Sheets?
So I'm just staring at it, and I think that again, just like when I look at golf, like my first look at these odds, the 2 guys I would pick would be like of the sort of chalk, not even chalk, would be Jokic at 32-1, and boy, you can get Kawhi at 25-1
I don't think Kawhi has any chance to ever win an MVP.
Yeah, he's won it already, right?
That many games.
I think Jokic at 32-1 kind of stands out. The other one that you mentioned that I'm on board with is the Embiid. Embiid at 43-1.
Wow,
and then
43-1 here.
And let me ask you a question: Is it beyond the realm of possibility that Westbrook wins at 43-1?
So okay, you brought up something that I was going to get into in a little bit.
Yeah.
I absolutely think Westbrook is going to have a great season. I don't think there's any chance that he really does win the MVP.
Okay.
But I think that Washington is going to be. Sheets. I've got a bet here on them. You can get them. I got them at 32.5 wins. Washington out of 72 games, of course, but that's insane. You think Washington is going to? If anybody thinks Washington's going to be below 500 this year, they're out of their minds. Washington is a better team than Toronto. They're a better team than Indiana. They're going to be in the top 4 or 5 in the East, in my opinion. And I'm going to be doing every kind of bet. I think Bradley Beal will lead the league in scoring.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I think, yes, that's one of my other ones. And I think Westbrook is going to have another season. Westbrook has never played – he's only played 1 year. That was a year where he and Durant were hurt. He was hurt half the year. Durant was hurt the whole year, basically. And he's only really had 1 year where this team didn't win 50 games, basically, or 48 games, in an 82-game season. So basically winning 60+% of their games. And there's no reason this Washington team in the East shouldn't be a team that wins, 45 games or so, or somewhere in that range. I really think that they're a great sleeper pick. And honestly, when it comes playoff time, I think they're going to be a tough team to beat because they're going to play faster than everyone else. They've got some shooters. They've got some youth. They have some assets they could even potentially trade to add another guy. And I really, really like that backcourt with Wall and Beal. I think that with Westbrook and Beal. I think they're a perfect complement for each other. And I think that they're both going to have monster years. And Washington is my favorite over bet. if I had to make only one bet this year, it'd be Washington.
Oh shoot! You know what? Nitrogen doesn't have the over-unders. Maybe we can go through some of those.
Yeah, so I've got a list of them right now.
Yeah, but before we leave this site, I just wanted to mention. I mean, like,
yeah.
I think of Jokic to win the MVP. Like, no one from out there ever wins the freaking MVP. You know what I mean? Like, there's nobody from one of those teams ever wins it, and he's just too unselfish. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
If he averages, let's just say, because I think a triple-double is really in the cards for him potentially this year.
Yeah, sure.
There's a chance he leads the league in rebounding and assists. I'm not saying he's likely to, but he's probably going to come in third in rebounding. If that happens and they're the best record in the West, it's certainly going to be hard to keep him down. Because look at all – can you just jump back to that page real quick, Sheets? Because I want to just look at all the other guys who are favorites, other than Luka. Luka's the logical one.
Yeah.
Also the narrative, it fits. It's the year he really can go all out, and they're going to, starting from the beginning to end, he's going to be the favorite. I think that makes a lot of sense. But I have no interest in Giannis. I have no interest in Curry. There's no way LeBron wins it to me. AD is Anthony Davis. I could see it potentially, but I think LeBron being on the team hurts him in terms of votes. And I think you've got Kevin Durant, James Harden, who's no chance. Who even knows where he's going to play? Kevin Durant, I don't like at all to win the MVP. Dame, who's getting, I guess the odds are getting better. Dame, Tatum, and Luka are the only guys who are 20 to 1 or better that I think have any chance to win.
Let me ask you, what odds can you get on Lillard to lead the league in scoring?
So I actually think Lillard is – I don't know what you could get on it, but I'm going to guess it's probably in the 10 to 15 to 1. Probably not good enough.
Only because weren't you able to bet on one of them?
What's that?
Weren't you able to bet on Beal?
I've got a Beal tagged. I haven't actually found the place to bet yet, although my friend literally called me right when we were starting this. And he's going to tell me where to bet that. But I don't know what it's going to be. I'm sure that with Beal, it'll be a little bit longer of a shot than Lillard, although I think Beal has a much better chance than Lillard because with Lillard, you're getting Nurkic back. I think he's going to try and be more of a true point this year. That's just sort of my take on Lillard.
Well, I would pick to win the scoring if I can get it is at 8 million to 1 is Zach LaVine probably. So
that's a really sneaky one. He's one of the guys who's going to be one of the top 20 fantasy players this year that people aren't really talking as much about as I think they should. So I kind of like that. He's certainly going to be useful for us in DFS. I'll tell you that.
Let's see if I can I get to the sports book? Let me.
Yeah, you should. You might have to log. Yeah, you do.
Well, I can get there, but I don't think they'll let me bet. I think
they won't let you bet.
Yeah. Okay. So basketball. Basketball. Let's see. Basketball.
And then
NBA. All right, here we go. Team futures, player futures, right? Okay.
Here we go.
So leading scorer. Here we go.
There it is.
All right. So if you like something, I'll drive to Jersey or something, and we'll put it in. No, that's what I did for the freaking Rockets before they came.
I love the Bradley Beal at 22 to 1 to lead the league in scoring. I really do. I mean, so let me just clear this out for people because there's a media narrative that's driven something with Westbrook that is so completely out of whack. So James Harden, career highs scoring average last year, led the league in scoring with Russell Westbrook. Kevin Durant has won 2 scoring titles and 2 MVPs. Those were with Russell Westbrook. Paul George's career high, these were Westbrook's good teammates. Career high in points, career high in everything was with Russell Westbrook on his team. They all had their best years with him. Bradley Beal has never had a guy like this. And the pace that they played, you took the fastest team in Washington and added Russell Westbrook to that team.
Yeah.
Look at that, man. They're going to be a gold mine for fantasy. Bradley Beal, this number, like literally after the first couple weeks of the season, my guess is they'll probably be cut in half. I'm not saying he's more likely to than not lead the league in scoring, but I think that he is by far at 22 to 1, like just a phenomenal bet. Phenomenal. Like it's actually ridiculous to me because I have him like I was running some early season projections. I've got him projected to score 32 a game. Harden should certainly be able to surpass that if he plays or whatever happens. Who knows what's even going to happen with Harden? So 22 to 1 is you're not going to get a better odds on anybody than you're getting on Bradley Beal.
Okay, this is what we're doing. So, we have 6th Man of the Year award. No, we could have some fun. Steals, blocks, assists.
Yeah, I've got all these, man.
All right, so let's just take a look. Rookie of the Year.
This is my least favorite one, the Rookie of the Year, because I have a very little feel for it. I would just.
Yeah, me too.
I would bet Obi Toppin. I think the best player, the player I would be most happy to have drafted in this whole thing is Killian Hayes. I like Devi Avdia, but the problem is I do actually think that, you've got some talent and some guys ahead of him in Washington that's going to make it hard for him. So I don't know. You might see I think it might be LaMelo just gets enough chances, just wins it on chances.
All right, I'm gonna be in. I'm gonna pick one, okay? Because I mentioned this guy a couple of times. There's a guy who I coached against in 8th grade. Okay, AAU player, coached in 8th grade, and every once in a while when he did something in college, I would tweet a little video when he dunked on us in 8th grade or whatever it is. And now he's in the pros, and he's on a team that has no guards. So I might try Cole Anthony at 40-1.
Okay.
Just for fun, just for funsies. He's on Orlando with basically no guards.
Right.
Or no point guards, right?
I mean, you got Fultz, but it's who knows what's going to happen with that one.
So I might give him a swing, and the other guys I really don't know all that well. I'm not betting on Nick to win anything. There's no freaking way.
But I mean, in terms of being NBA ready, I do think Obi Toppin makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Just as the guy's college player of the year last year would make some sort of a natural transition. LaMelo, it's just going to be a matter of how much does he infuriate people when he shoots 38% from the field. You know what I mean? Like, are they going to vote for that guy when he averages 20 and 7, which is very possible that he does.
I had to get my coach, Chris. I told you the guys, my trainer for my AAU teams, Chris Diaspara and Casey Cosgrove. They've coached pro guys, and Casey actually worked with Russell Westbrook back in the day. He worked for the Grizzlies. They would know these college guys more than I would.
See, I wish Bull was on a worse team because he would be a guy I love. Look at this guy's, what a steal that guy was. I mean, I can't believe they're counting him as a rookie. I mean, I just think of him as in his second year.
Most improved player. So you actually emailed me one of these guys.
Yep.
You like the Kobe White, right?
I think Kobe White has got a great shot. Where do we have him on this list?
16-1.
Okay, that's probably about right. And I really like him. Jamal Murray I had as the favorite on my list, but I guess I see that one. And it's going to be hard for people to decide with Porter because I felt like Porter sort of had a breakout year already. So can he have more of a breakout year? Same thing with Ayton. Kobe White hasn't really shown what he can do. And again, we love Levine, but I wouldn't surprise me at all without their other guards back there. I think you might see Kobe White in the low 30s in minutes, and this guy could average 20 a game. So I think he's an awesome pick. What's that, Sheets?
I think we're supposed to bet the guys that improved. You know what I mean? Like I don't like Shea. I wouldn't pick. You know what I mean? Because he already improved into last year. I don't know. Oh, you froze a little bit.
Yeah, I froze a little bit. Sorry about that.
Oh, I think you're. Yes.
Sorry about that. A little technical difficulties, guys. We're back. Sheets, you know who is on this list who I thought maybe you might have some interest in? What about your boy Chris Boucher?
No, I'm more interested in, is this a joke? Is Zion Williamson 33-1, or they just think he's good already?
I don't understand why he would even be on this list. The most improved player thing is a bizarre thing, and these are the most improved and rookie of the year are the ones I'm having the most trouble with. But I do think that if I had to pick anyone, it would be Kobe White, because most of these guys, you're not really talking about improving. You might look, honestly, Mitchell Robinson's odds are pretty crazy because Mitchell Robinson is going to have a chance to show out this year. I think he'll lead the league in blocks. He's my pick for that.
What about? I got one. So this is what's going to be my favorite on this list. I'm looking through. Is going to be probably 50-1 Marvin Bagley. That'll be mine.
Oh, that's awesome. Why is he 50? Yeah,
that'll be probably my shot.
I'm adding that to my list here, Sheets. That's a good pick, right?
Let's look at sixth man of the year. By the way, if you take Lou Williams sixth man of the year, you hate money. There's no way that's going to happen.
The problem is it's hard to find another guy who makes a lot of sense. Like most of these guys don't even know if they're six men.
Dinwiddie's going to come off the bench this year, right?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that he will. So I personally feel very uncomfortable with almost all of these guys. But
Montrez at 20-1.
I don't even know that he's a six man. He might be like the ninth man for the Lakers. I mean, how are we going to figure that one? That's what I'm trying to figure out here. Is like,
wait.
Eric Pascal is maybe the guy.
I saw a name here. I didn't even know he was still playing, much less he's back. DeMarcus Cousins is back playing?
Yeah, but he might even start.
Well, what team is he on?
Houston.
Wait a minute.
You're gonna get if Harden gets traded, we get the John Wall, DeMarcus Cousins show 5 years late. These guys, everybody wanted these guys to play together because they the Kentucky connection and everything, and now we get the chance.
Eric Pascal, sixth man. No.
I like Eric Pascal as a bet. I think that's probably
Bertans 16-1.
I don't know if he's gonna. I don't think he's gonna come off the bench.
I know that's the tough part, isn't it?
I don't think Schroeder's gonna come off the bench. Otherwise, he'd be an easy pick.
Danilo's definitely starting.
Danilo's only ever started. I don't understand what, except for that in Atlanta, there literally are 15 guys on their team who all you could say potentially could start.
Let's see. Defensive player of the year. Oh, who'd you say was going to lead the league in blocks? Mitchell Robinson?
Mitchell Robinson will
80-1.
The only problem is the defensive player of the year is going to be really hard on that Knicks team to win a defensive player of the year. But I do like it. I think Anthony Davis is a really good bet here. I actually think that he should be the favorite. So I guess he kind of is, but it's not quite the odds you necessarily want. Bam Adebayo probably is the guy with the best odds that you would go for. I think if they were doing it the right way, Drew Holiday and Ben Simmons are the best perimeter defenders in the NBA and probably are a little too low, but they don't really give it to perimeter defenders hardly ever. So I feel like this could go. Miles Turner seems to have odds that are a little bit too far out, but I don't love the defensive player. I'm more on the leading scorers. I like the steals guys. This is where
Hold on, let me take a look real quick. So, this is leaders in steals per game. Andre Drummond? I don't even get that.
Wait, for what?
He's like the fourth favorite in leading steals.
He gets actually a shocking number of steals.
Okay.
He's going to be another guy who, for fantasy, we're going to be talking about all year long because, especially on FanDuel, where you get the 3 times for the steals and blocks, I think he's going to end up becoming a much, much better play. He's going to have a monster season on that end of it.
I don't think Chris Dunn's going to get the minutes.
I don't even know. Like, look, you asked me who's gonna play for the. I don't even know what's happening with that Atlanta team. Everybody likes what they did in the offseason. I personally, they're going to be better, but I hate what they did. I want Atlanta way under on the team totals. I like the for the steals. Who did I put down as my guy? Can you jump back to that sheets for a second? Because I did have a guy I think that I have Ben Simmons. Yeah, I do have Ben Simmons as my guy. I'm just comparing it with my sheet.
So blocks, you said you liked Mitchell Robinson?
Yep. It's Robinson or Gobert who I would bet on, but I really like Mitchell Robinson. Miles Turner is definitely another one, but I think Mitchell Robinson would be my pick.
Let's see, assists. It's not going to be Westbrook?
I think it very well could be Westbrook. So I love Westbrook here. I don't love LeBron. I don't think you're going to see the same assist totals that you saw last year. I actually think Trae Young, and let me just see who I had here for it.
What about the guy from
14-1,
John Morant? Okay.
Possible. I could see it happening. I think they're going to rely on him a lot more offensively, but I could see that, as a steal guy, that could certainly happen. One guy who's not up here at all, and maybe throwing, or he's not, the odds are a little crazy, is Steph, who's actually once, I believe, led the league in steals.
He's 50-1.
Seems a little crazy, right? It's a little too far. So
who's going to score?
Also, De'Aaron Fox. First of all, if you're talking about a guy who could lead the league in steals, and your name on your handle is Swipa the Fox, because that's what they call him. You know what I mean? Why wouldn't we bet on De'Aaron Fox here?
He's 50-1 for steals.
Okay, so De'Aaron Fox for steals. Fox for steals. I love it.
Rebound seems kind of boring.
No, rebounding is I have a very strong take, but it's no different than what the chalk is. I just don't see how Andre Drummond doesn't lead the league in rebounding if he's healthy. I really don't see how it's like. Yes, you got other guys who could be up there, but I mentioned some, but I really just think it's gonna be.
Okay, so now let's go back to these team futures and get a better thing. So we get team win percentage.
Essentially, yeah.
So it's actually. Does that mean win percentage or wins?
Win
percentage.
Yeah.
Well, that's a little confusing.
I know. I don't like that they do it that way, but I do have another sheet with the exact wins. I mean, we're math guys. We can do it.
Yeah, but it's kind of smart because you know what? Because they don't know how many games are actually going to get finished.
That's exactly what's happening, and you nailed it.
Everybody would bet the under. You know what I mean? All these things.
Right. Exactly. I totally agree. So let's talk about these. I mean, we could even go. I think you could actually go. Like I can quickly go team by team because I've got a pretty strong take on some of these guys.
All right. So the team win percentage. How are they listing these?
The
Oh,
overs. They're in it.
no, they're in kind of random actually.
That's weird. All right, so Milwaukee, I'll take the under on their win percentage. It's going to be really close. I probably won't make that bet myself. So I would just leave that. But if I had to, I would say take the under.
Phoenix, only 52%.
Love Phoenix. Easiest bet. One of the easiest bets. The easiest bet is Washington, but Phoenix is the next easiest bet.
Washington, 45%.
That's absurd, and it's the easiest bet. If you have extra tons of money laying around, make a huge bet on Washington here. It's honestly the best bet you're going to find, in my opinion. I don't see any route that they don't win 50% of their games. I think they could lose one of their guys and still win half their games.
I gotta write this crap down. So we're gonna go back through all these. So Washington, just the over.
Yep.
I'm gonna take Phoenix and the over. This is for my trip to New Jersey. So we got Phoenix in the over, Phoenix over, Washington over. Anything else in these team futures here?
I like the Hawks under.
The Hawks are, 47.5%.
And the Hawks are 47.5%. Oh, wow. Actually, you know what? I've got them at 55% on my thing.
Really? Wow.
So I actually don't like them as much at under 500. I like them.
Okay.
I'll tell you right now, if you think the Hawks are going to win more games than Washington, I think that you're mistaken. So I still would probably lean under, but I don't think I would bet it. I love the Hornets over.
Ooh.
It's a really weird one, but I have them at 22 wins, so basically they go 22-50. So if we're talking about, I mean, first of all, they won almost as many percentage of their games last year. I think even higher. They compete every night. They have a coach who's really out there trying to win games. And I think adding Gordon Hayward is like, as much as I don't like how much they paid him, I don't like the move to try and win a title anytime soon. They're going to be a solid team, and then it's not going to be because of LaMelo. It's going to be because of these other guys. And I think Rozier.
Wait, so remind me. So Gordon Hayward's on what team?
Well, the Hornets. The Bobcats.
Wow.
Yeah, they signed him for about $5 billion, and I don't really understand entirely why.
So let's take a look at the last piece here, which is to reach playoffs. You said, right? So
can you look at the Rockets over under, because this is a really interesting one that's jumped around a ton.
The Rockets over under. Let's have some fun. What do you think it should be?
So, well, it's an incredibly highly variant situation, because if they do trade Harden, which he's sort of forcing their hand, although as of right now he's in camp with them. If they do trade him, I wouldn't touch it. But
they're too smart. It's off the board.
Yeah, I had them at 48%, and I'm saying that James Harden will never be on a team that doesn't win half their games, in my opinion.
Right.
So I'll just take the over. That would have been the easiest over ever. But yeah, that's smart not to have that one.
So let's look to reach the playoffs. You were talking about Washington again?
Yeah, I would take it even as an even bet, but I think you're getting some odds here.
No, actually, you have to actually lay $1.20.
Lay a little bit. That's still fine. I just don't see a world where they don't make it. I really don't, man. I cannot fathom how they don't make it.
So let's see the Knicks. 14-1.
14-1 they are?
Yeah.
That's not good enough.
Wait, but if it's no, you have to lay 50-1?
What?
It's not very nice.
They just don't want you to bet that one.
Boy, oh boy, that's not really nice at all, is it? Jesus Christ.
What do you have to lay on the Lakers? Yikes.
Yeah.
So
100-1?
100-1 is actually, Yeah,
you only get 16-1 if you want no.
Yeah. I do like so okay, let's see the playoffs. At Washington, yes. I would like to bet no on the Hawks.
I'd like to bet. You know what? I probably might want to bet no on the Blazers.
So anybody in the West who has a little bit you can get any edge on, like there is a lot of room for some of these teams. It's just then when you look at the Blazers team, though, I'm like, they're a playoff team, But there's still 12. I mean, with Nurkic there.
I forgot.
They should be really, really solid. I think the tough ones are like Memphis is going to have a really hard time this year, I think.
Phoenix minus 134, but I don't know. That seems solid enough.
Yeah, I would take Phoenix all day there. Phoenix is not missing the playoffs this year.
All right, that was really boring, but division winner, may as well check it out. 50-1 on Milwaukee. Pacers, no. Nuggets, Jazz, Blazers.
Nothing really.
T-Wolves, are they that? T-Wolves terrible?
So I don't think they can win the division, but I actually think they're going to win more. I like them on the over too, personally. But it's going to be tough in the West because somebody's going to have to lose some games.
Brooklyn, Celtics, Raptors, those are all terrible bets. Miami Heat, really?
I don't like but who else? So I actually think that Washington would be the best bet here. I think I could see Washington.
I'm seeing a theme here, by the way.
With what? Me?
Yes.
Well, but let me explain the thought process. So not only just the Westbrook stuff, the East is also, in my opinion, weaker than people think. Miami doesn't have a ton to play for in the regular season. They're a postseason type of team. It's not like they were world beaters last year. Washington is just so underrated right now. It's bizarre to me. It's almost like they rated them lower after making this trade. I thought Washington was a playoff team anyway coming into the year, and then they pull off a phenomenal trade and fit two perfect guys next to each other. I just don't see any way they're not making the playoffs. Winning the division over the Heat might be a little bit too much to ask for, but I certainly like their odds better than Atlanta. And I really, really think there's no way Washington doesn't make the playoffs this year. I just am going to leave most of my money, I think, on that bet.
Okay, so what we're going to be doing also from New Jersey is we're going to throw a little money away. We'll throw a little money away on Phoenix at 25-1 to win that division.
I love it. I love that bet.
Because, like you said, neither of these other teams care about the regular season anyway.
I love it.
Yeah.
And this is Phoenix's chance to take the step up. I think it's a great bet. Phoenix to win division, yes.
Okay, so game lines, who cares? All right, so oh boy, we did a lot more than I thought we were going to do, right? So, and we didn't even talk about DFS. So we've saved some for the future. But I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm pumped.
It'll be fun, man.
Hey, I have a dumb question because I've really never bet this stuff before. Does this stuff close when the season starts? Keeps going.
No, they have them going.
Okay.
They're pretty much going all the time, and
I only ask because I know I have to pick up. I do have to pick my daughter up from Newark Airport, but not till December 26th. That flight comes in. That's Jersey.
Oh, yeah.
What's going to happen in 4 days? You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, you're right. It couldn't be. Who knows? I guess something could happen, but.
Yeah, I could bet on Phoenix, and then Booker gets COVID next day. Actually, COVID's not going to be a big deal. That's only a couple of games.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we did good here, and I'm going to be on the record of I don't know who's going to win the title. I do like those other title bets. I don't like the Lakers quite as much, and I just think, again, just to reiterate though, Jokic MVP is at 30+1. Denver to win the West, or not to win the West, to have the best regular season record in the West, and Washington playoffs, Washington everything. We're going Washington, not to win it, not to do any of that, but I wouldn't be shocked if this team was round 2 or maybe even in the conference finals in the East. I really believe in this Washington team.
So if as the kids say, if I'm going to keep it real, right? The real lesson that the real take I want you to take away from this is we looked at nitrogen and the DraftKings odds, especially on these future bets, and it's very clear that the big winner is going to be nitrogen and DraftKings. Okay, like these odds are terrible, right? So really, whoever you take, you are throwing money away. But I figured if you're gonna throw money away, this is just my opinion. You don't want to throw it away on the Lakers plus 236 or something like that. I mean, who needs it? I mean, get yourself a sweat. Like play something that's got a shot to make something. I mean, they're like, well, that's just whatever. I promise you that betting, say, Phoenix at 25-1 to win the division is really no worse than betting, say, the Lakers at like -110 to win the division. They're both terrible. But at least you get good brag rights to your friends when you get this done. And the other thing that Bobby kind of brought up is if you can get to a place where you could parlay some of these things together, like one guy to win the MVP with that same team to win something, then that you get a little bit of vig in that. If you do that, then maybe you're only giving up maybe 30% vig to the house with these types of bets. Hey, good on DraftKings for getting all this stuff up there. Good for nitrogen to get all this stuff up there. I hope they get action on this stuff. This definitely looks like fun.
Oh, they will, man. And I'll tell you right now, I don't agree about the throwing money away because I feel very strongly about this. Like, I think this Washington is the most misdone like numbers wise that I've ever seen. How can you tell me this is a 40%? They're going to win 40%. I just can't see a world where that happens. I think you could tell me right now that one of the stars is out, and I still think they beat it. I just think it's totally.
And let's talk about the team then. So, you want to see a hold on. I wonder if they have this. If we get a most improved, do they have Rui in here?
Yeah, I don't know where he is on the most improved, but he's actually an interesting option. Yeah, he's way down there. Here he is.
I don't even see him.
50, is that 60 to 1? 50 to 1? Down under Darius Garland. Next to Andre Hunter.
The right side or the left side?
Left side.
I trust you.
Probably could have been a little bit.
Oh, there it is. There, I got it.
I actually thought it could have been a little bit further for him, but yeah, I think he's okay for that. I think that I guess if I was going to take a guy in the same thing, I would take PJ Washington over him.
Okay.
Just because I think that he's got to have more of a chance to show off a little bit, and Rui's just a really good player who's going to fit in well on a good team. But I mean, look, you got Rui over there. Not to mention, you have Beal and Westbrook, and then adding, having guys like a Rui who's young, and then Deni Avdija, the rookie. I think I'm a big believer in him, but I really, really like. I hate how much they paid Bertans. But I think that's a really underrated, sneaky guy for them to have. And I just think they have a really, really nice rounded out team. And they have enough to where they can get a piece. I like Troy Brown Jr. also coming off the bench. So there's some talent there in Washington. And they were competitive towards the end of last year. And adding Westbrook, I cannot tell you, to treat it like it's not even, to not change their win total is actually offensive, I find. Oh, and by the way, it just reminded me of who I did pick to lead the league in steals, and that's Matisse Thybulle. He's my pick for the steal win. I forgot to mention him. But yeah, it should be a fun year, and I'm the more I talk about it, the more I'm becoming more and more bullish on this Washington situation. And we're going to make a lot of money betting on and against Washington in DFS because there's going to be a lot of fantasy points to go around in those games. You're going to probably get an extra 15 possessions that won't go, between them and the Magic. There'll probably be 15 to 20 more possessions per game in Washington. That's not an exaggeration.
All right, sounds good.
All right, bud. All right, yeah. So good luck to everyone out there. I hope you do well in your season-long bets. Let me know if you have any thoughts or anything you want my opinion on, or want to tell me that I was right or wrong about. Happy to hear from you. For Sheets, I'm Bobby saying good luck out there.
All right.